is a very visionary person. He tends to see ahead. And in most things, most issues that we have handled, that's what we have discovered. That a lot of the time you would have taken certain steps, and then we find other universities also announcing it, and it's like, see what we had already thought about. But that's always because of the person.
The bursar also talked about the ongoing projects done by Professor Felix Kolawole.
The chief executive officer is the drive. He's the one that drives the entire system, drives the workforce, drives the management team. And if you go to his 12-point agenda, the 12-point agenda when he started with us, it's all very clear the direction we wanted to go. And one of such is to ensure that, projects that are started are delivered, and that's what we are seeing. That's what we are seeing all over the place. If you ask me, I'll say it is the drive, because if the leadership is bad, then you cannot have these results. I mean, he's a tax driver when it comes to that. When it comes to from the procurement itself, to the starting of the project, to the execution, from A to Z. And that is why the projects are coming up. There is no single struggling project among the new projects that we started here. And without necessarily making so much noise, it is the drive of the person at the head. We feel the drive. Everybody feels the drive. He's always going to inspect projects here and there. Always. In fact, within a quarter, many times he must go to see what they are doing there. He's not the one that sits down in the office and he goes out. He goes out from time daily. He's going about the campus, not even projects. He's always moving to see what is happening there, what is happening there, and what's happening there. So, the entire management who, one, understand the university system. And with that, there has a good knowledge of the forces and the counter forces within the system that can assist to ensure success of the operations of a university. And we are talking about balancing between academic, non-teaching staff, students, stakeholders, in the various, the host communities and all the rest. So he has a fair knowledge of all this, and he has been able to balance this and relate well with all these critical stakeholders within and outside the campus.
Professor Salako has been involved in rural community development projects all over Nigeria. Some of these activities led to his being honored with chieftaincy titles.
Community development is sure that we relate very effectively with the rural communities. And the recent thing that we did, we were able to give our products, agricultural products, to certain communities in Ogun State during the lockdown as palliatives. So we have our tentacles in different rural areas in Ogun State, promoting agriculture, supporting them with facilities and all that. Just about a month ago, we were at the Mawuko and Chiba communities, just close to near our dam, and we donated balls to them. So we are involved in social services and community development. Infrastructural development, that's part of my promise. And when you go around now, without boasting, you should be able to find about 50 projects, if not more. And one thing when we say buildings, purchase of equipment, purchase of furniture, road construction. Building Camp Alabata Road between 2017 and now. The Camp Alabata Road should not have been our concern. It's a government road. But we of the road. Now, I took it as a responsibility to find federal government funds to react. No, because of the terrible condition of the road. Although to the fact that every truck move on it, we did that to rehabilitate the road. And we are concentrating on the inner roads now, intra-campus roads. And we are doing that. So, among the buildings that have been completed now include our library extension, a mail room, and which other buildings that is ready. A lot of rehabilitation work going on, even in the old buildings, which have been completed now.
Has been very, 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 very good. He has contributed in so many ways to the development and growth of this university, both in terms of human capacity and infrastructural development. In general, Vice Chancellor as a person, I would describe his leadership as that of a visionary one. He's a strategist and then pragmatic. He runs an inclusive government. Everybody must have a say in whatever we are doing. He will throw everything open. There are some issues or matters that if it was somebody else, he would have taken decisions as his chief executive. But for Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, many a times you will manage such things. DCO bring up at the principal officers meeting. When I say principal officers meeting, it means all the other principal officers, the deputy vice chancellors, the registrar, the bursar, and the university librarian. The issue will be thrown open to them for discussion, and whatever decision arrived at will be upheld. It's not that I'm the one in charge, I can do anything or whatever. It's not like that. He runs an governance. He carries everybody along, even the students. He engages them in dialogue, the unions. And so far. And that is why I would say, by the special grace of God, he is achieving so much.
Dr. Feyitola, insight on how the university has developed under the new administration of Professor Felix Kolawole Salako.
The state library has been so favored in that we have the Vice Chancellor that knows the values of books.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Please for this morning programs. Already, I've just been told that the procession is about entering this auditorium. But from the blast of the trumpet that I'm hearing, that's the blast of royalty. That's the sound of royalty. That's the singing of royalty. Please to inform you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that just in this auditorium is our own father, our own father, our own father, our own father, the paramount ruler, and of course, the Alaafin of Egbaland is in Her Majesty, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo Okukanu IV, the Alaafin and paramount ruler of Egbaland. Just coming in, please. Let's say Kábíyèsí o. Let's say Kábíyèsí o. Let's say Kábíyèsí o. The paramount ruler and the Alaafin of Egbaland, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo CFR. Omo Okukanu, Omo Gbadebo is just coming in now. We are privileged. Kábíyèsí, you are most welcome, sir. And all the chiefs of Egbaland. I can see Batu there. Kábíyèsí, you are most welcome. We are highly privileged to have you in our midst this morning. We'll appreciate your presence because your presence is much needed here this morning. We thank you, Kábíyèsí. Kí là ń fọba pé ọba o ọba láṣẹ ọba ọba tó tó bí aró ọba o ọba láṣẹ ọba ọba tó wẹ̀wù oyè ọba o ọba láṣẹ ọba. Kábíyèsí, you are welcome. All the high chiefs that are on the entourage of our Kábíyèsí, His Imperial Majesty, we acknowledge you, and I want to assure you that in the course of the program, we are going to acknowledge you better. Thank you, sir, for coming. Thank you so much. All the distinguished ladies and gentlemen here seated, I want to tell you that in the next short space of minutes, we will be having coming into this auditorium the procession that actually marks at the commencement of today's program. What are we here to celebrate this morning? Let me quickly inform you, sirs and ma'ams, that we are here to witness the special award ceremony for conferment of the academic title of emeritus professorship and naming of buildings, monuments, and commissioning of projects after our living legends in our university. Just coming in is our own pioneer registrar, our own mother, our own matriarch in this university, Princess Adebisi Shoboyejo. Let's give her a round of applause as she's taking her seat. Let's give Princess Adebisi Shoboyejo a round of applause as she's taking her seat. We have many more monarchs and royal fathers coming in. You are most welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. Your being here is really appreciated. You are the reason for why we are here this morning, and we cannot but continue to appreciate your presence in our midst this morning. Already seated, some of our former principal officers here seated. I see Professor Tony Adowolo, former DVC academics. You are most welcome. I see our former university librarian, Mr. Ajayi, here. You are most welcome. I want to tell you that once I have the list, I'm going to run through the list quickly, and your presence will be highly acknowledged. We want to welcome our mama, our yeye, our matriarch. You're still looking young. We are glad to see you here, ma. Congratulations on today's award ceremony. We thank you so much. You have done much for us in the university. We cannot but continue to appreciate you. Thank you so much, mama. Happy to have you here this morning with us. And of course, till the program will be winding up today. Thank you so much. We have just coming in. We are glad to have him in our midst. Our own fourth substantive vice chancellor, the fourth substantive vice chancellor of our university. They call him Ogbon, they call him Oye, they call him Imo. Speaking of our own professor, Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogo, please give him a round of applause. He's coming in with Mama, the professor herself, the one that has been with Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogo. Please give him a round of applause to the Mama. We are happy to have you in our midst this morning. Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogo, Ogbo, Imo, Oye, you are most welcome, sir. Mama, Professor Balogo, you are most welcome. Yes, we are naming one of the monuments after Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogo. And we have in here, we have Mama Shoboyejo here. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to assure you it's going to be a very memorable, indelible program that will remain evergreen in our life for many years to come. It's going to be a reunion. It's going to be a regathering. It's going to be an appreciable impact today. Please, just fasten your seatbelts and enjoy today's program. Thank you so much. Yes, I see what I told you earlier on in that place. Estate of please, Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogo, Princess Adebisi Shoboyejo, our own mama, our own pioneer registrar, Professor Mrs. Balogun. You are welcome. Akabiesi, the paramount ruler, and of course the Alake of Egbaland, His Imperial Majesty Oba Dr. Adedotun Arebubadebo, the Okukenu Fort himself, is also seated. This man loves FUNAB. He thinks FUNAB. He has been championing the cause of FUNAB, particularly when you take cognizance of the fact that he has been at the ends clamor for the restoration of management science. Kabiesi, you are most welcome, sir. Aguros Bagura, Baba is also here. Oba Bakri is also here. We are most welcome. We are going to recognize you in due press. We are happy to see you here, sir. You are the owner of our land. Kabiesi, you are most welcome. Adiak Pelori, Batakpelese, Olori Ashebi, Eshoba Jokope o, Kabiesi o, Eshe Gidigoni, Amoriri yin, thank you for coming. Eyin Baba Woloye, Amoriri yin, sir. You are most welcome, sir. Eshe o, we are glad. Thank you for honoring us. We sincerely appreciate you. Yeah, okay. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you that Edo State has relocated to this auditorium. I say Edo State, I really mean it. Edo State has indeed relocated here. I want to tell you that Governor Godwin Obaseki has located here. I want to tell you that Iku Akponopono has located to this place. I want to tell you that the entirety of prescribed authorities in Edo State has located here. And I want to tell you that we are early, I repeat, early and early privilege to have the representative of Governor Obasaki, not just mere representative, an amiable, an indefatigable, and able representation here with us this morning. I'm talking of no other person than the functioning, I repeat, the functioning permanent secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Edo State, and person of Mr. Peter Udia Akomabe is with us here this morning. Please, let's give him a round of applause, please. Please sustain the applause for him. He came here early enough. Please sustain the applause. We are blessed to have you, sir. How is our governor, sir? How is Monoba? We are glad to see you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Professor Balogun, thank you for bringing him. We are glad to have him in our midst. Thank you so much, sir. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please fasten your seatbelts as the flight of this important program will soon take off. We are here today to actually witness a special award ceremony for the conferment of the academic title of emeritus professorship and naming of buildings and monuments and commissioning of projects. Only here at a place we are calling for the last time FUNAB ceremonial building. After this morning event, this place will no longer be known as FUNAB ceremonial building. We are naming it after a giant. We are naming it after an icon. We are naming it after an icon. We are naming it after a man that has impacted appreciably on the collective psyche of our university. I won't tell you his name now because I'm not fit to do so. And also, I also want to tell you that one of our hostel is going to be named after an Amazon, a matriarch, a woman of many parts, a woman of substance, a woman that has impacted positively in the life and in the collective psyche of our university. I'm not going to give you her name now, but you're very proud of her because we are already proud of her. Thank you so much. I will soon be back to continue the program. But right now, we are expecting to come into the auditorium at the academic procession that is to mark and to commemorate today's twin occasion. Thank you so much. My name is Kola Adepoju. I'm the head of public relations, and I have my team here working with me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The academic procession is actually coming to the auditorium, and in the next few minutes, we are going to have the procession with us here. Already seated this morning is the representative of Edo State Governor, and of course, our own paramount ruler, the paramount ruler and Alake of Egbaland, His Imperial Majesty, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo. Kabiyesi, we have you with us here. We are glad to have you. And of course, the Agura of Bagura, that is the monarch of the land where we have Funab, is also here in person of Oba Zaburi Babajide Bakri. Kabiyesi, we are glad to have you. All the highly revered and eminent high chiefs of Egbaland, we are glad to have you. Our own pioneer registrar, our own mama, Princess Adebisi Shoboyejo, if you like, Omoba Adebisi Shoboyejo, we are glad to have you. Our own fourth substantive vice chancellor of our university, Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogun, we are glad to have you in our midst. Former principal officers here, former deputy vice chancellor academics, Professor Toyin Arowolo, and of course, former deputy vice chancellor development, Professor OJ Ariyo. We are glad to have you in our midst this morning. The former provost of Neuropsychiatric Hospital is also here with us. In due course, we are going to duly recognize you. A former university librarian, Mr. Ajayi, is also here with us. I want to assure you that in the course of this program, we are going to duly recognize you. Welcome to this twin occasion of special award ceremony for the conferment of the academic title of emeritus professorship and naming of buildings / monuments and commissioning of projects. You are most welcome. Please, we want to assure you that in the course of this program is going to be quite revealing and of course quite challenging. Challenging to the fact that you can live your dream and that yes, whoever honor is due to be given will not be spared from being recognized and of course appreciated. That is the whole essence of our gathering here this morning. Welcome once again. Please, may I humbly inform our guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, that the moment the academic procession enter this sprawling auditorium, you are humbly requested to please be on your feet in recognition and in honor of the academic procession that is specially put in place to commemorate today's special auspicious occasion. Thank you so much. of entering this auditorium, the venue of today's occasion. In the next few seconds, I will humbly request you to be on your feet in recognition of the academic procession and also to signal the commencement of this morning program, which is conferment of the academic title of Emeritus Professorship on two eminent, or let me say living legends of our university, Professor Oluwafunmilayo Ayoka Adibambo, and of course, our home professor, Atunde Adetunji. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all be on our feet. Let's be on our feet. The academic procession is actually coming in right now. Let's be on our feet. Yes, we have the procession coming in right now, signaling the commencement of today's twin occasion, particularly the one that we are having here right now, which is the special award ceremony for conferment of academic title of Emeritus Professorship. Thank you so much. I see the university librarian, Dr. Mrs. Faitola Onifade, coming behind the awardees of today, Professor Oluwafunmilayo Ayoka Adibambo, and of course, Professor Michael Tunde Adetunji. We have the registrar of the university, Dr. Bola Adekola, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, Professor Mrs. Bolanle Akeredoluale. Of course, the Post-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council, Dr. Barrister Abogiza, and of course the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, just coming in right now. Let's remain standing. Let's remain standing, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. While we are standing, let's have the national, okay, just hold on a bit. I think we are set now. We are having the national anthem first, then thereafter, we shall be having FUNAB anthem. Right now, national anthem. Thank you. Right now, we go for FUNAB anthem.
School
Thank you so much. Okay, let's be seated, please. Thank you, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by saying that I won't be able to recognize everybody here, but I know that the Vice Chancellor in the course of this program is going to do that better. Let me just quickly acknowledge the presence of some of the eminent personalities with us here this morning. And I'm starting with the Pro-Chancellor and, of course, Chairman of Governing Council, in person of Dr. Barrister Abogi Zawa. You are most welcome, sir. Please, you can sustain the applause for him. Thank you so much, sir. We have also on this side of the auditorium, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. Please, let's sustain the applause for him. And of course, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Academics, in person of Professor Bolanle Akere Dolu Ale. You are most welcome, ma'am. And of course, the DVC development, we also have him with us this morning, in person of Professor Clement Adeofun. You are most welcome. Okay, he's not here this morning, we understand. We have the Registrar, Dr. Bola Adekola. You are most welcome, sir. The Bossa, Mr. Chukwuwike Ezekwiazu, is being represented by Mr. Olusanwo, the Deputy Bossa. You are most welcome. And of course, the University Librarian, Dr. Feyintola Onifade. You are most welcome, ma'am. Let me say that we also have other eminent personalities here this morning. But before I go to them, I want to acknowledge the presence, of course, of today's honorary awardee, which I want to, you will agree with me, we are happy to have them in our midst. We have Professor Olufumilayo Ayoka Adibambo. You are most welcome, ma. He's one of our awardee this morning. And of course, Professor Michael Tunde Adetunji. You are most welcome, sir. We also have with us this morning eminent personalities that we are naming monuments after. We have the fourth substantive Vice Chancellor of our university, Professor Oluwafemi Olayabalogun is here. And we also acknowledge the presence of Mama, his wife, Professor Mrs. Balogun. Thank you. And of course, we have our own pioneer registrar, who we are also naming one of the monuments after this morning. I'm talking of Princess Adebisi Shoboijo. You are most welcome. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I deliberately paused at this juncture because we have all the way from Edo State, the homestead of Governor Godwin Obaseki, the homestead of Iku Akponopono. I'm talking of the representative of the governor of that state. He is the functioning permanent secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Edo State, Mr. Peter Udia Aikumubobokwe. You are most welcome, sir. Please, let's sustain the applause for me. He came all the way from Edo State this morning. We are glad to have you in our midst. And of course, we have Akabiesi. Lórí òkè àti pẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀, níbẹ̀ ni wọ́n gbé bí wá sí o, níbẹ̀ ni wọ́n gbé tọ́ wá dàgbà o, ilẹ̀ òmìnira. Máyọ̀, máyọ̀, máyọ̀ o, lórí Olúmọ. Máyọ̀, máyọ̀, máyọ̀ o, lórí Olúmọ. The paramount ruler, and of course, the Alake of Egbaland. This man loved FUNAB so much. He has been championing the cause of restoring management sciences to FUNAB. He has been championing the plea to federal government to fence all our sprawling land. I'm talking of His Imperial Majesty, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo. You are most welcome, Kábíyèsí, Kábíyèsí o. Thank you so much. We can't do enough for our Kábíyèsí. We also have with us this morning, the Bagura of Agura, the Agura of Bagura, I'm sorry for that. The Agura of Bagura, Kabiyesi, my sincere apology for that. Agura of Bagura, our own Oba Saburi Babajide Bakri. The Agura of Bagura. Thank you, Kabiyesi. Thank you so much. All our eminent. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Don't be surprised by that. We have very responsible students in our campus, and of course, their leaderships are very, very responsible. It's very, very responsible, and we are happy to have them in our midst. Thank you so much. At this juncture, I want to invite the Vice Chancellor for the conclusion of the ceremony, the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako. Thank you so much. Please, let's sustain applause for the Registrar, Dr. Bola Adekola.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the provision of the Federal Universities of Agriculture Act of 1992, number 48, chapter F22, statute number 1, section 4F and G, empowers the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, to hold examinations and grant degrees, diplomas, certificates, and other distinctions to persons who have pursued a course of study approved by the university and have satisfied other requirements as the university may lay down, and to grant honorary degrees, fellowships, or academic titles. Section 9, Section 2, Article 5B also empowers the Vice Chancellor to preside as chairman whenever the Chancellor is absent at meetings of convocation, where he shall be the chairman. I have the honor and privilege to respectfully invite the Vice Chancellor, Professor Felix Kolawole Salako, to constitute this assembly on behalf of the Chancellor for the purpose of awarding of academic titles. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir.
I hereby constitute this assembly of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, for the purpose of awarding of academic titles.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of our Governing Council, Dr. Aboki Zawa, OON, I have the honor to invite you to deliver your address at this occasion. Mr. Pro-Chancellor, sir.
I ran the risk of losing my respect this morning because there is no established protocol yet. and it appears I'm the one to establish a protocol. And if I happen to miss you out, please, you'll pardon me. The Vice Chancellor standing in proxy for the Chancellor, who happens to be my boss this morning, but I told him that I still have 1 day to go, so he still stands the risk of being fired tomorrow. Council members here present, the awardees, the representative of the governor of Edo State, the Alakin of Ibaland, and his council members. If we have past pro-chancellors here, I recognize you, and past vice chancellors, I recognize you. Distinguished students of FUNAP, those invited and those not invited, I greet you all. Today is going to be my shortest address ever because I have not written one. It was on purpose. I don't want to waste anybody's time, and I don't want anybody to waste my time because I have to leave. One of the philosophers once said, there are 3 categories of people. The first category are the people who make things happen. The second category is the group that watch things happen. And the third category is the group that don't even know what has ever happened. In a similar vein, one philosopher also said, there are 3 great minds in the world. The first mind is the great mind. And that type of mind discusses ideas. The second mind is an average one, and they discuss events. The worst of them all is the last mind, which is the weak mind. And that is the mind that discusses people. We are gathered here this morning to honor 2 great minds that have ever existed in the university. It is no coincidence that I happen to have interacted with one of the great minds as far back as 2006, thereabout. And I have known him since then. And I'm happy that I will be seeing you much later on. Then there is the other one that I have met, but very casually. And when I saw her, I thought I was a young man, but I discovered that there is somebody who is much younger than me, but she's even older than me, but looks much older. Professor Oluwafunmilayo Adebambo. If I pronounce it wrongly, please you forgive me. Mine has been pronounced more than 100 times wrongly. And if you think that I'm lying, I was just told this morning that one of her sons is a professor in the university. So that tells you how old she is. All right? Now you are the father in proxy. Professor Adebambo, when your case was presented to us at council, I wondered who you are. But I was reminded that you were the one that talked about the chicken that I loved so much. And I ate those chickens delightfully. It's a pity you have gone, so I've not been served the chicken anymore. But I'm happy that today you'll be made a professor emeritus. I don't want to read your resume, but just to recognize you and to wish you the best. Professor Adetunji, you're going to be a professor emeritus. I'm not too sure we've met in a very strong manner, but even casually, I'm not too sure we've met. I saw you this morning. You didn't greet me, I didn't greet you, so I imagine that we haven't met at all. But your resume speaks volumes of your achievements, and that is why you are being recognized today. As I said, very soon we'll be going out to honor one of our own too, by naming a building after him. Ladies and gentlemen, my council members, I cannot forget you because you've been very wonderful. You've been very supportive, excellent group to work with. If I have a choice, I will reassemble you tomorrow for another job. But I don't have that capacity, I don't have that power to reassemble you. So wherever we are going to be, I wish you the best in your endeavors. The staff of the university, from professor down to the cleaner, I have had no cause to trample on your feet, and you have had no cause to enter my nose either, because if you did, I would blow you out. I want to thank you so very much on behalf of the council for being so wonderful, for being so nice. As I said, I wish you people give honorary professor. You don't. You haven't established one. All right. So I will not be coming back for any other function except if I'm invited to witness an occasion like this. Otherwise, I would have said I should be giving honorary professor so that I'll be visiting you. The Vice Chancellor, I want to thank you for being very understanding. We came before you, we are leaving before you, but you will follow soon. Mr. Registrar, well, I'm glad that the university had you. You are a bunchum of knowledge. Any little thing you talk about, he's aware of it. He started giving you history of it. And we had no reason to scorn him, except this morning at the point of my departure, where he refused to bring my regalia in time. That's why you were seated here for 15 minutes without us coming in. So, but I reminded him that he should not misbehave. I'm still very much around. Students, as they say, he who has learning has wisdom. But he who has wisdom has greater learning. Only wise ones will sit down to learn, but the weak ones will watch others learn. It is my considered opinion that if you put in your best, you'll get the best result. This is a very, very highly rated university. You will not regret passing through it. And I want to advise you to allow the university to pass through you. It is then that when we see you, we'll say, yes, we are proud of you, a product of FUNAB. I understand that you are not many, so only 2-3 people clapped, but it's okay. You know, we had this Oyinbo man. I've finished the story. I said it was going to be the shortest speech. It's appearing that it's even longer than the ones I've given before. This will be the last story I'm going to give you here. We had this Oyinbo man who came and he was dancing all over the place because he has been in Nigeria for quite some time. And anytime he made a speech, he expected us to clap. We wouldn't clap. So he said, am I boring? We said, no. I said, you are in Ekwa. Ekwa people don't clap. So this is Funab. Funab people don't clap. Have a blessed day. The Lord be with you. I started with Holy Ghost fire. I'm not ending with Holy Ghost fire. The man who will be taking over from me will have Holy Ghost fire. And if you think that mine was harsh, wait until he resumes. You will fall down and
Please, let's sustain the applause for the Chairman of the Governing Council. The registrar, sir.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, on the recommendation of Senate and with the approval of Council, has found Professor Olufunmilayo Ayoka Adebambo of the College of Animal Science and Livestock Production worthy to be conferred with the academic title of Emeritus Professor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I therefore want to call on the Dean, College of Animal Science and Livestock Production, Professor O.S. Chouande, to present the Emeritus Professor to the congregation this morning.
The Vice Chancellor, sir, may I invite Professor Olufunmilayo Ayoka Adebambo to the podium. I present the citation of Professor Olufunmilayo Ayoka Omoteleola Adebambo, BSc, PhD Ibadan, Registered Animal Scientist, Fellow, Animal Science Association of Nigeria, Fellow, NLAS, Fellow, GSN, Genetic Society of Nigeria. Professor Olufunmilayo Ayoka Omoteleola Adebambo was born on the 4th of December 1948 to the Toriola Ogunleye's family by Mr. Moses Toriola and Mrs. Susanna Bolaji, both of Bagura in Abeokuta. She is the first granddaughter of Pa Christopher Emmanuel Kehinde, who was among the first set of Christian converts in Nigeria. Olufunmilayo attended the first primary school in Remoland, that is St. Paul's Primary School, Makun, Shagamu. The first co-educational secondary school in Africa, that is Remo Secondary School, Shagamu. And the first university in West Africa, that is University of Ibadan. No doubt, she is a woman of many firsts, as her life depicts. Number one, in several ways. She graduated with a second-class honors upper degree in animal science in 1973 and had a PhD in animal breeding and genetics in 1976, finishing as the first woman to graduate with that degree in Nigeria. She also became the first female professor of animal breeding and genetics in Nigeria in 1996. Professor Olufemelayo Adebambo was the first to introduce her students to the application of biotechnology in animal breeding and production in 1998, an era she diversified into the 1986 after gaining the Commonwealth Fellowship to study immunogenetics at the Institute of Animal Physiology and Genetics Research, King's Building, Edinburgh, Scotland. She developed the first improved indigenous pigs for Nigeria, named Niger Eye, from the local pig breeds in 1990, and led the team that developed the first improved indigenous chicken breed from local poultry stock, the Funab Alpha, in 2016, with an IP right NGGGD 1802. Professor Adebambo is an erudite scholar and a prolific writer with a great desire for improvement of our indigenous livestock. She has over 200 publications to her credit in books. She has over 200 publications to her credit in books, monographs, contribution to books, commission reports, published journal articles, international and local conference proceedings, and many contributions to local seminars and workshops. She has supervised several Agri students and graduated over 50 master's and PhD students in the field of animal breeding, genetics, and biotechnology. Her hard work and consistency has earned her global recognition. In the Department of Animal Breeding and Genetics, we fondly called her Mama. I was the first to become a professor in genetics and biotechnology, and the first to fully be appointed as the head of department, a position she held for 2 tenures, and later served as the first female dean of College of Animal Science and Livestock Production. She demonstrated the traits of a visionary leader in teaching and supervision of students at both undergraduate and postgraduate levels before becoming the first staff to retire after her meritorious service in the Department of Animal Breeding and Genetics. The establishment of a functional genomic laboratory with grants from the World Bank, which attracted the Nigerian Institute of Animal Science to consider the department as a center of excellence in the discipline, was spearheaded by her. She was able to achieve this because she is outstanding in intelligence, very dedicated, industrious, and well-focused. To date, Professor Adebambo has received 31 laureates, comprising awards, prizes, and scholarship. She was a recipient of the Federal Government Scholarship for Undergraduate Studies 1970 to 1973, Pfizer Prize for Best Student in Animal Science at the University of Ibadan in 1973, University of Ibadan Scholarship for Surgery Studies in 1973, Commonwealth Fellowship to study immunogenetics and disease monitoring from September 1986 to July 1987, to mention a few, but to also mention that she received a World Bank assisted grant that helped in training and characterization of ruminant animal breeds. She received India's Technical Corporation SCAP training grant for specialized training in poultry breeding, artificial insemination, and hatchery management. Also, World Bank assisted UNAB Biotechnology Project Step B for capacity building in animal biotechnology 2008 to 2010. I do not want to forget to mention the Melinda and Bill Gates grant that helped to establish the peer project that is still very functioning, through which the FUNAB Alpha was developed. Professor Adebambo is a fellow of Animal Science Association of Nigeria, FASAN, fellow Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, FNIAS, fellow Genetic Society of Nigeria, FGSN. She is actively involved in several renowned professional bodies, which include Foundation and Life member of the Genetic Society of Nigeria, and also a former president, Foundation and Life member, Nigerian Society for Animal Production, member, British Society for Animal Production, member, American Society for Animal Science, member, Rare Breeds International, member, World Poultry Science Association, member, Animal Science Association of Nigeria, and registered fellow, to mention a few. It is worthy of note that before retiring from the department, Professor Ms. Adebambo biologically replicated herself in Professor Ayotunde Olutumeninu Adebambo among our numerous and flourishing mentees worldwide. Permit me to say that this is an additional first occurrence in the life of our dear professor by God's providence. She is actually a chief breeder indeed. Mama was married to late Prince Dr. Victor Olumoyewa Adebambo, and the marriage is blessed with glorious children and grandchildren. Professor Ms. Adebambo, your nomination for the award of Professor Emeritus did not take us by surprise, for it is an award well deserved. The entire membership and students of the College of Animal Science and the University indeed congratulate you and your entire family. Join me to applaud our erudite scholar, a chief breeder, a renowned professor of professors, and a mother in the college, and a well-respected retired member of the College of Animal Science to receive the award of Professor Emerita.
Okay. Oh, okay. By the authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, and in accordance with the provisions of the University Statutes, I, on behalf of the Chancellor, confer on you the academic title of Emeritus Professor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, with the rights and privileges attached thereto. The Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, confers award of Professor Emeritus to Professor Olufunmilayo Ayoka Adebambo. FRAS, FNIAS, in recognition of your contributions to the university, dated this May 5, 2021. Congratulations.
Down, it's better down. Okay. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, on the recommendation of Senate and with the approval of the Governing Council of the University, has found Professor Michael Tunde Adetunji of the College of Plant Science and Crop Production worthy to be conferred with the academic title of Emeritus Professor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. I therefore call on the Dean, College of Plant Science and Crop Production, Professor M.O. Atayeshi, to present the Emeritus Professor to this congregation.
The Vice Chancellor, I present an abridged CV of Professor Michael Tunde Adetunji. He was born on the 23rd October 1951 to Mr. George Adekola Adetunji and Madam Esther Tinoade Adetunji of Ayelabuwo Baale Oyo Compound, Okemesi, Ekiti. He had his primary education at local authority primary school, Okemesi, Ekiti, from January 1957 to December 1963. His secondary education at Oshobo Grammar School from January 1965 to December 1969. He was in Oyo School of Survey from February to August 1970. He attended the University of Ife, Ile-Ife, now known as Obafemi Awolowo University, between September 1970 and June 1974, where he studied BSc Agriculture. He was a recipient of Western Nigeria Marketing Board Scholarship for 3 years. After his mandatory National Youth Service at Izelo Nkalago State Farm, then East Central State, he joined the then Federal Department of Agriculture Research in Ibadan in 1975 and was posted to Federal Rice Research Station, now National Cereal Research Institute, Badegi, as Pupil Research Officer, Chemistry Division. He later went to the University of Ibadan to read analytical chemistry between 1976 and 1978. He returned to Badegi, where he headed the chemistry unit for 2 years. He left Badegi in January 1980 for Ondo State College of Education, Ikere Ekiti, where he lectured till February 1982. In March 1982, he joined the Federal Polytechnic Ilaro as a lecturer in analytical chemistry and environmental chemistry. It was during his stay at Federal Polytechnic Ilaro that he registered for his PhD program in soil science at Ile-Ife in September 1983 and successfully defended his PhD research in January 1987. For his PhD, he enjoyed the federal government postgraduate scholarship. He joined this university when it was College of Science and Technology, Abeokuta, of the University of Lagos in September 1987 as lecturer grade 1. He became senior lecturer in October 1990 and rose to the position of a reader in October 1993 and a professor in 1996 October. At the University of Agriculture, he had a number of administrative positions, which included the following: coordinator of the Department of Soil Science and Agric-Mech, 1989 to 90, acting head of Soil Science and Agric-Mech, deputy dean, College of Plant Science and Crop Production, acting dean, College of Plant Science and Crop Production, acting dean, Dean Student Affairs Division, Director, Equipment Maintenance Center, Dean, College of Plant Science and Crop Production. He was an internal member of the University Council. In addition to this administrative position, he was involved in a number of university committees as chairman. This included chairman, University Sports Committee, chairman, permanent site tree planting panel, leader monitoring team, permanent site crop enumeration project, chairman, management committee on transportation, chairman, student welfare and hostel management committee, chairman, university loans committee, chairman, project monitoring committee, chairman, admission committee, chairman, committee of deans and directors. He also headed several ad hoc committees and involved in many other university committees as a member. At the national level, he was a member of the 7-man presidential committee of experts that reviewed the activities of National Agricultural Land Development Authority, otherwise known as NALDA, nationwide in 1996. He was the joint zonal coordinator of the nationally coordinated cassava yam research project of the National Agricultural Research Program, 96 to 1998. Professor Adetunji, at one time or the other, has been a member of the following society: Soil Science Society of Nigeria, India Society of Soil Science, African Soil Science Society, Soil Science Society of America, International Union of Soil Science, Association of Official Analytical Chemists International, American Society of Agronomy, Agricultural Society of Nigeria, New York Academy of Science, Secretary, Association of Deans of Agriculture in Nigerian Universities. Professor M.T. Adetunji has more than 130 publications as at the last count, out of which more than 90 of them are in journal articles. Professor Adetunji was at the University of Maryland, College Park, as a visiting research scholar working on African phosphate rock samples with Professor Rewell of the Department of Natural Resources Management and Landscape Horticulture. He was on a short training at the Galilee Institute, Israel, on the management of higher education institution. While in Funab, he supervised successfully more than 14 PhDs. Many of them are professors now, many masters, and first degree students as major supervisors. He also participated as co-supervisor for many student research programs across colleges. He retired from the university in July 2017. Professor M.T. Adetunji is married with children. I respectfully invite Professor Adetunji, a leader, a mentor, a father of many people, for the prestigious emeritus professor of the University of Agriculture, Abeokuta.
By the authority vested in me as the Vice Chancellor, and in accordance with the provisions of the University Statutes, I, on behalf of the Chancellor, confer on you the academic title of Emeritus Professor of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, with the rights and privileges attached thereto. Thank you.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, I have the honor to call upon you as the Vice Chancellor and the Chairman of Senate of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, to come and deliver your address on this august occasion. Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir.
Your Excellency, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and visitor to the University, President Muhammadu Buhari. I think I need to announce that the President is around in the person of the visitation panel to the university, because they are working for the visitor. The Chancellor, His Eminence Edidem Ekpo Okon Abashiotu V, the Obong of Calabar, who indicated about 2 weeks ago that he will not be around. And by law, as you have indicated, I'm representing him. So the Vice Chancellor is standing in for the Chancellor. The Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council of NAB, Dr. Barrister Aboki Zawa, who is the boss of the Vice Chancellor, who is representing the Chancellor. Members of the Governing Council, principal officers, the Deputy Vice Chancellor Development and the boss are on their way to Abuja for another official function. That's why they are not here. Members of Senate Congregation and Convocation, deans, directors and heads of units, staff and students of FUNAB, His Royal Highness, the Alaki and Paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo Okukenu IV, Shefa. His Royal Highness, Oba Saburi Babajide Bakri, Jamolutu, Agura of Bagura land. Other royal fathers, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, great Funabites, great Funabites, great Funabites. It shall be great forever. On behalf of the Governing Council, Senate, staff and students of this great citadel of learning, I warmly welcome you to this ceremony for the conferment of Professor Emeritus, which we have done, naming of monuments, and commissioning of projects in the Federal University of Agriculture, FUNAB. This great occasion is also being held as a part of the valedictory session of the 6th Governing Council, which has been in place since May 9, 2017, and will exit its tenure on May 8, 2021. The council has been ably led by the Pro-Chancellor, Dr. Barrister Aboki Zawa, and I hope I'm not mispronouncing the name. It is indeed worthy for our university to celebrate this council that started its tenure out of an engulfing crisis at onset to this moment of peace on the campus. The council was responsible for my appointment as the 5th substantive Vice Chancellor of FUNAB, which effect from November 1, 2017. The wealth of experience brought into the administration of the university by the chairman and pro-chancellor has been enormous and highly rewarding for FUNAB. Same goes for all the external members of the council who worked with the chairman. We recognize you and God bless you all. General overview of the current administration. As stated earlier, the current university administration came at a time when suspicions were rife among some stakeholders. It took the grace of God to stabilize the campus by building trust in the administration. The peace and joy has assisted in accomplishing the 12-point agenda proposed by the Vice Chancellor during his inauguration on November 1, 2017. Under these achievements are 167 projects, with 115 successfully completed and 52 nearing completion. We are still going on to achieve more. We can group these achievements under the following: construction and rehabilitation of buildings, colleges and centers, hostels, Senate building, student union building, staff school. Construction of roads, comfort stations in strategic locations. Construction of a dam and a water treatment plant, which is still undergoing construction. By God's grace, we shall complete it and solve the water problem on this campus. Provision of internet facilities. Provision of more than 300 computers, desktops. Equipment for laboratory, mechanized farm equipment, Center for Entrepreneurial Studies equipment. And I think the veterinary teaching hospital is enjoying some equipment now that are actually state of the art. Modern teaching aids, such as smart boards, projectors, furniture for classrooms, laboratories, and offices. Supply of books and digital equipment for the university library. Provision of solar panel street lights from here to Mawuko. Improvement of electricity supply through purchase of generators and upgrade of power plants. Some of these are ongoing. Purchase of utility vehicles for students, directorates, farms, centers, and so on. Support for staff and students on welfare issues. Support for staff and students on training and career development. Enhancement of income generation through upgrading the cassava processing factory, bakery, packaged water factory, fish ponds, seed processing, and mechanized farming, to mention few. We are currently upgrading the oil palm production unit. We have completed the grandstand at the sports arena, and we hope that we shall be able to improve more for sporting activities. Corporate social responsibilities by provision of boreholes for neighboring communities in Mawuko and Chigba community. Rural community development through extension services in our covered villages in particular. Enhance security with establishment of Harmony police station in the neighborhood and provision of logistics to each operations. Successful accreditation of our programs in 2019. And the fact that our students keep doing well, especially in professional exam. And I need to mention this with regards to the College of Management Sciences. We have been asked to stop running that program, but we believe we should run it. Even now, at 200 level, we have students who pass their accountancy professional examinations. At 200 level, 300 level. Those in banking and finance too have been having it nice and highly recognized as students. We keep saying it, and we shall keep saying it. It is a misconception to believe that management sciences are not fit for agricultural universities. People should please check Punjab Agricultural University, Texas Agricultural and Mechanical University, and many other specialized universities in the world. If they have the chance, they will study Yoruba there. And I hope they are not even studying it there, because many American universities are teaching Yoruba for the people in diaspora. So we affirm that we are good for management sciences, and we keep asking for that. We also had international accreditations for postgraduate courses administered by Center for Excellence in Agricultural Development and Sustainable Environment. A feat achieved before any equivalent center in the country could achieve it. We had accreditation from a German body, a foreign body, when many of the centers for excellence could not stick their head out. We were the first to do it, and we succeeded in having the international accreditation. Conferment of Professor Emeritus. The first conferment of Professor Emeritus by our university happened during the 27th convocation in January 2020. Professor Julius Okoji and late Professor Esther Folonsho Adu were the first to be so conferred. We are due to have the second one in January 2021 as proposed for the 28th convocation ceremony. But this could not be held due to the carryover of the unusual worldwide lockdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic that broke out in 2020. Universities under the federal and state governments were affected further by the nationwide strike by staff unions in 2020. Despite the aforementioned handicap, the Senate and Council of the University deemed it fit to have this special award day for honoring those who deserve honor. Among these are two eminent retired professors, namely Professor Olufunmilayo Adebambo and Michael Chude Adetunji. Professor Olufunmilayo Adebambo nurtured the Department of Animal Breeding and Genetics at its inception in 1993. By 1994, she focused on breeding for the improvement of local livestock breeds, particularly chickens. By July 2018, she capped the achievements with the Funab Alpha chicken breed, which is already patented in the name of this university. The university is forging ahead with the production of this breed because of facilities attracted to it through grants received by Professor Adebambo. I believe we are not really getting to the public enough, and we are going to encourage and improve on that trade, because the council chairman actually said it, that since she left, we have not been serving chicken. But I think Dr. Weto will be held responsible for that subsequently. Professor Michael Chude Adetunji is a soil scientist of international repute who has distinguished himself in the fields of research for development. He worked as a soil chemist on rock phosphates using natural resources found in Ogun State specifically. He has developed predictive models and laboratory methods suitable for quantifying amounts of various elements in soil, particularly phosphorus. Those of us in soil science know how difficult it is to find phosphorus in soil. He rigorously provided quality leadership in the Department of Soil Science and Land Management, which was Department of Soil Science and Agricultural Mechanization. For College of Plant Science and Crop Production, and the entire university, he was instrumental for the significant improvement of instrumentation in Funab laboratories when he headed the Equipment Maintenance Center. Professor Adebambo Adetunji have been found worthy by the Senate and Council of Funab to be appointed as Professor Emeritus. Again, to the glory of God, this academic tradition started under the current university administration with the noble support of Senate and Council. Naming of monuments. Still in the tradition of honoring those who deserve honor today, May 5, 2021, will be remembered for the honor Funab is bestowing on Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogun and Princess Catherine Adebisi Shoboyejo. Professor Balogun was our Vice Chancellor between May 24, 2007 and May 23, 2012. Whereas Princess Shoboyejo is the pioneer registrar of the university from October 1, 1989 to June 30, 1998. Professor Balogun, who came from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, then transformed Funab with exemplary leadership and enormous infrastructural development, which, as I put it here, cannot be ignored, even by those whose cousin were God, through deserved disciplinary actions. The ceremonial building being named after him today was built under his administration, and I will recall the stress we went through getting this place done. The contractor was almost giving up, but we will not let him give up. Thank you, sir. Also, the female hostel is being named after Princess Shoboyejo. Princess Shoboyejo, as the pioneer registrar of our university, laid a foundation still being cherished by those who worked under her. Reputed also to be a disciplinarian. I didn't meet her here, but I've heard stories about her. And a very firm registrar. She did not compromise diligence at work. Her legacy of honesty, firmness, integrity, and hard work are enough to honor her by the university. And let me place it on record here that it is usual to think of academic style when we want to honor people in the university environment. I think it is high time we started thinking about non-teaching staff who have served meritoriously in the university system. Everybody has his own responsibility as a professional. And those who really thought about the university system, we should go and check the history of UI, University of Ibadan. The registrar and bursary were together when UI started. Until the government realized that accountants are different from administrators, and they separated them. The university has evolved over the years, and we need to study history. If we go into international circles, you go to IIT, a soil scientist cannot do the work of accountants. Neither can they do the work of human resource persons. We should get it right in the university system. Everybody has a role. We should get it right in the Nigerian system. Everybody has a role, including a child who has just been born today. That's why God allowed the child to be born. Just as Professor Balogun has trained some graduates who are now professors in various places, some of the then administrative assistants and other lower cadre in registry under Princess Shoboyejo became registrars in various institutions, and many are highly qualified now for this top position in tertiary institutions. Enviable legacy worthy of emulating have been left with time and in space. Indelible footprints conjure memories of nobility of these two honorees. Commissioning of projects. 4 out of the projects completed under the current university administration between 2018 and 2020 are also to be commissioned today. These are the University Library Extension, Copeland Phase 2, Agricultural Laboratory Complex, and Cadet Laboratory. Cadet Laboratory is supposed to be our central laboratory, which I envisioned when I was coming on board. The concept of having equipment replicated in about 47 departments is not tidy. It's not cost effective. It's not effective in terms of management of human resources. We have this central laboratory with more than 300 million naira worth of equipment. And if people say they don't see it, I wonder what else we are going to do. Because we have put it on the web, we have announced it. We cannot keep replicating equipment in each department. It's not effective. And in any case, we need to say this. If you have a distiller in a department, it's not every day that you use it. It's not every day that you use a particular equipment in any college. And it's not every day people go to cadets to work. So the equipment we have are enough for effective research work. We enjoy people to please look at the facilities we have before they write that they want to go to South Africa to go and find them. We shall have the honor of having the Chancellor, Pro-Chancellor, the Alaki of Egbaland and Agura of Bagura to commission this project. Concluding remarks. I've stated earlier that today's event is part of a package of the valedictory session being organized by the university for the current FUNAB Governing Council, particularly for those who are appointed by the visitor. It is also coincidental that during this period, Mr. Visitor has sent visitation panels to federal universities, including FUNAB. We recognize the presence of Mr. Visitor, who mandated the visitation panel to report on various aspects of university governance in the last 10 years. We also wish to place on record that since the outgoing governing council came on board, it has ensured that a conducive and enabling environment existed for progress of the university. There were frictions and there was smoothing without compromising the drive for excellence. Excellence cannot be compromised was the title of a speech the Vice Chancellor gave in November 2017. I still insist that excellence cannot and shall not be compromised because its realization is achievable, but remains indefinite as long as we live. You can say that you want to achieve excellence. When you get to the level of excellence you are, you need to go higher than that again. So as long as we live, we shall keep pursuing excellence. I congratulate the honorees and their families. I congratulate the outgoing council members for restoring the glory of our day. The more that should be expected of the current university administration in view of the history being made today is for you to keep moving from now forward and upward without failing. God bless you now. God bless Ogun State. God bless Nigeria.
Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, in our midst today are men of timber and caliber. We have, like you have mentioned in your speech, a 3-in-1 ceremony. And as we are honoring those with academic titles today, we have some people who have been invited by the honorees. And therefore, before we get to the concluding part of the ceremony here today, I want us to recognize some distinguished personalities who are here with us. Permit me, therefore, to start this recognition from the governor of Edo State, who is a guest of the university courtesy of Professor Olaiya Balogun, and is ably represented here today by Mr. Peter Ayuko-Omobagwe, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources, Edo State. We have in our midst His Royal Majesty Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, CFR, the Alaki and the paramount ruler of Egbaland. We also have in our midst His Royal Majesty Oba Saburi Babajide Bakri, the Agura of Bagura land. I need to mention once again that we have in our midst the first substantive Vice Chancellor of this great university, who, as described by the Vice Chancellor, the man who transformed the facilities of Federal University of Agriculture, Professor Oluwafemi Olaiya Balogun. And with him is the amiable wife, Professor Mrs. Balogun, also with us. The pioneer registrar of this great citadel of learning, Omoba Catherine Adebisi Shoboyejo. We also have with us Chief Lawrence Osayemi, the former Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Governing Council of this university. The pioneer VC of FUNAB, Professor Nimbe Adedipe, is also with us today. We have Professor Aki Adeseyiwa, the Vice President of National Institute of Animal Science and the representative of the Council of Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, who is a guest of Professor Adebambo, a renowned animal scientist. We also have in the hall a man that you will have heard so much about, but you may not have seen before. The immediate Vice Chancellor of Lagos State University, Professor Lawrence Fagbon. I have my own, the immediate Vice Chancellor of Olabisi Onabanjo University, Professor Saburi Adesanya, in the house. We have Dr. Eho Ogunlesi, former CMD of the NPH Arrow, in the hall. The former university librarian, Mr. A.T. Agbola. Professor O.J. Areyo, former Deputy Vice Chancellor of FUNAB. We have Engineer Femi Adejuba in the house too. We have Professor Oluwole Banjo, the Acting Vice Chancellor of TASUED. Professor Afolabi Toye, University of Ilorin. Professor J.G. Adewale, former Provost of Oyo State College of Agriculture. Mr. Moses Ilesome, the former Bossa of FUNAB. Dr. Frederick Oguntoye, former Director ICTREC. Chief L.A. Jagun, Dr. Mrs. Linda Owuka, former Acting Registrar of this university. Professor Unka, Professor T. Aruwulu. And we also have guests of Princess Chuboyejo and Professor Balogun, Mrs. A.O. Dukoya, Mr. F. Mustafa, Dr. J. O. Adegbite, Mr. S. A. Dairo, Mr. Bello Omoluabi, Reverend Bilewu, Mr. Adeigbe, Dr. Eddie Okuro, Mr. O.J. Lekuti, Mr. T. Dauda, Mr. F. O. Usedu, Chief Oladipo Moronfolu, Professor Olukoya Ogen, former Provost Adeyemi College of Education, Ondo. Also in the house, because we have a Nomoba that is being honored today, ably led by Yalake of Egbaland, are the guests of Professor Balogun and Omoba Bisi Gbadebo. We have in the house the Olu of Olodo, Oba Adeosun. We have Olu of Odeda, Oba Oluwani Shola. We have the Bagbimo of Egbaland, Chief Akone Akiwale. We have the Bantu of Egbaland, Chief Kehinde Sofenwa. Chief Sunday Odunton Asiwaju Ba Amofin of Egbaland. Professor Chief Ajao Adelekon Ba Amowe of Egbaland. We have Chief Lai Labode, the Minister of Information of Egbaland, the Ba Aroyin of Egbaland. We have Chief Wole Odekunle, Ba Asoju Oba. And we have the Olu of Jafin elect Oba Moruf Adebayo. From Agura, we have the Balogun Ojo, Chief Adio Bayewu. We have the Balogun Ijaye Kukundi, Chief Arwe Obe. We have the Balogun Ijaye Obirintin, Chief Yusuf Eweje, and we also have Prince Olayokun from Bagura. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I now have the honor of inviting the Vice Chancellor to come and declare this ceremony closed.
I hereby declare the ceremony closed. Can you please listen to the following announcement? What we are going to do next will be naming of buildings. We start with the naming here and then go to the one called Marble before. We shall be coming back to the library extension, which is closed here, for the commissioning of projects. From the library extension, we will be led to 3 other projects. But the first thing to do will be naming of monuments, starting with what here, right here in this place. We are going to give room for people to have photographs. The moment we go out now, while they prepare for the commissioning of project of this particular project. Thanks so much.
Thank you, sir. Right now, we are drawing the curtain of the program. We are starting first with FUNAB anthem. Then thereafter, we'll take the national anthem. But before then, let's quickly listen to this. This is the order of departure. All staffs of our university should remain seated. The academic procession we go through the right-hand side, the exit on the right, and the KBA says through the left VIP exit. Immediately after the program, we shall be going for the commissioning as announced by the Vice Chancellor. But at this juncture, shall we all rise for FUNAB anthem and thereafter national anthem? Thank you so much.
Revolution.
the national anthem. Thank you so much. Our dignitaries on the high table, we are exiting through this right-hand side, where the ceremonial chairman is going to signal to you. Akabiesi, we sincerely appreciate your coming through the VIP exit on my left-hand side. All staffs of FUNAB should be seated according to the chairman ceremonial committee. You are going to be attended to here, SARS and MAS on the auditorium. The academic procession, please, through the right hand side. Our dignitaries, we want to congratulate all our awardees and living legend Professor Oluwafemi Balogun, Princess Adebisi Soboyejo. We can join the procession here, sir. Thank you all for coming. This is not the end of the program. Immediately after this program, we shall be going for commissioning for the naming of monuments after Professor Oluwafemi Balogun, the ceremonial body, and of course the marble hostel after Princess Adebisi Soboyejo. Thereafter, we shall be going for the commissioning of a new project put in place by the Professor Felix Kolawole Selako-led administration of our university. Thank you so much, Professor. On the right hand side, sir, please. Thank you so much. Professor Oluwafemi Balogun. Thank you, Princess Adebisi Soboyejo. Thank you, Mr. Segun Risajo, Head of Public Relations, Federal Medical Center. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, from the Governor of Edo State, ably represented here. We sincerely appreciate you. Thank you so much, sir. Chief Lawrence Osayemi, our former Pro-Chancellor and Chairman Governing Council, you are highly recognized, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is not the end of the program. We are still going to commission and rename this building after Living Legend, the first substantive Vice Chancellor of our university. Professor Mrs. Onwuka